What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And with this video, we are jumping into Justice League issue 71. If you have not been keeping up with the Justice League or Justice League Dark that is in the back of this comic, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the Justice League since Dark Knight's death metal. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video because we are going to be talking about the death of the Justice League. Not only that, we're going to be talking about the event that's going to be transpiring called Dark Crisis, the brand new crisis that is coming about from Joshua Williamson. But with this issue, what we are getting is the conclusion to the Royal Flush Gang. Not only that, we see Dr. Fate preparing for the tower to fall. Be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue 71 of the Justice League, we are picking up and currently Jack is sneaking through the Fortress of Solitude, trying to go undetected. That is impossible because Superman is here. With him going toe to toe with Superman, the only thing he can say is I am sorry. With Superman saying that he is very lucky that the Earth did not turn itself inside out. Because while they had this elaborate ruse to steal the Fortress of Solitude, and what the Royal Flush Gang had done is accidentally opened up an extra-dimensional portal inside the Fortress of Solitude. And so while the Justice League, they were able to get all of this under control, it could have gone very badly very quickly. Superman letting him know that the situation is handled. All threats have been put back into their portals. With Jax apologizing, saying that this wasn't personal. And with the Justice League wanting some kind of answers, he knows that they are not going to be happy with what he has to say. Letting him know that they had every intention of giving the Fortress of Solitude back after they took what they needed. Because the plan was to steal something that could shrink down a meteor, with the meteor coming close enough for them to grab it with something inside the Fortress of Solitude. The plan was to steal this meteor as soon as it got close enough to Earth, with this meteor having enough minerals and resources that it could literally crash the entire economy of the world. But their plan was to find this shrink ray, grab this tractor beam, something like that. The plan wasn't really thought out that well, but the idea is there must be something in the Fortress of Solitude, like a tractor beam, that can bring the meteor to us. We can shrink it down, and when we're ready to hawk it, we just go ahead and make it bigger. Now, there's a lot of flaws in this plan. First of all, you're assuming that the Fortress of Solitude had something of that nature, both a tractor beam and a shrink ray. And second, if you are going to steal a shrink ray, something that can make something smaller and bigger, why the heck wouldn't you just use that on a crap ton of gold? Make your gold bars 10 times the size they actually are, and you don't have to try to catch a meteor out of freaking space. But ignoring that part and moving forward with the story, we see the rest of the Royal Flush Gang. They have been captured. They have been brought to the Fortress of Solitude. And this is when King, he gives the signal. Superman telling them not to try it, but they try it anyway. They try to make their escape. The Royal Flush Gang, they all power up. And as soon as they power up, that is as fast as they are brought down. With a couple of quick punches, we see the Royal Flush Gang, they are now imprisoned. And so with them out of the way, they all head back to the Hall of Justice, where they're handling this checkmate situation. This secret spy organization started by Oliver Queen. More than anything, they are worried about the Demon Rose. This is the brother to Lois Lane. And right now, they're all sitting down discussing what the best option is. And they come to the conclusion the best thing to do is simply offer him a job. Because the truth of the matter, he is Superman's nephew. Some of them even comparing him to Lois and Vigilante mixed together. And so it's like, why not? Why not invite him onto Checkmate? What do we have to lose from all of this? They have obviously been out for his neck, trying to assassinate him this entire time. why not bring him onto our side and just call it a day? Letting him know that he has to be the one to tell his sister. But this is where we pick up with the Justice League grabbing Green Arrow and bringing him off to the side. Him not really sure what is going on, hoping everyone is not mad at him for having this checkmate situation going on. But the Justice League, really what they are doing is thanking him. Because ever since Batman lost his money, Oliver Queen has been the one to step up. He has been funding the Hall of Justice. He has been funding Checkmate. Oliver Queen a little bit relieved, hoping that this was not an intervention for him overstepping. Now, don't get me wrong, the Justice League, they have every intention of keeping tabs on him, making sure that he doesn't abuse this power and use it in the wrong way. But while they are saying thank you, Black Adam, he is reminding him that he is going to be making sure that Oliver Queen, that his checkmate and everything he is doing does not step out of line. Letting him know that if he does step out of line, a bolt of lightning will be the last thing that he ever sees. And while this may seem a little standoffish, Oliver Queen tells him that you're right. I do need someone to have these checks and balances on me. I would expect the same thing from anyone else if anyone else were in my shoes. And so with everyone coming to agreeance, that is where the Justice League part ends and we pick up with Justice League Dark. The best thing about this whole comic. And we are picking up at the Tower of Fate. And we have Dr. Fate. He is writing a letter to Kent. And though it may seem strange, the fact that Kent is long gone and Dr. Fate is sitting here writing him a letter, the truth of the matter is he has no one else to currently turn to. Because what he is about to do is something that he has to do all by himself. Letting Kent know that the helm for the most part lies silent these days. On the occasion he has tried to hear something, he has only found a different, unknowing voice. This voice is screaming at him, showing him visions of the future that have not yet come to pass. And each time, exacting some cost, it blinds him. He knows where this path leads, and yet he cannot seem to stop walking, knowing that calamity will soon come knocking on his door. As he prepares for what is about to come, he reminisces on the last conversations that he had with Justice League Dark. The first being Ragman, telling Ragman that he understands all of his fear, because he worries the Rags, their hunger for souls will drive his actions rather than his own motives, with Dr. Fate letting him know that his choices, they will always be his own, and that when he acts, he will do what is right. He will always act in the right way. This is something that Dr. Fate knows. When it comes to Zatanna, she has been through a lot, more than anyone else in Justice League Dark. And for her right now, she is feeling untethered from everything. And though she thinks she's not ready to lead, she is the best one to lead Justice League Dark. And though this is a lonely journey, Dr. Fate lets her know that if anyone can lead them through all of the darkness, it is Zatanna. Talking to the Knight Eternal, a new character introduced, not really sure what she is going to play yet, not sure what her role is going to be yet, knowing that she is somehow tied to Merlin, that their fates, they are intertwined with one another, and her goal is to find the Grail. Finding the Grail, this will imprison the soul of Merlin. Talking to Jason Blood, imparting some wisdom on them really not sure what to think of this information yet, but if it comes from Dr. Fate, it must be heeded, because Merlin will come to them. Merlin will tempt them, and by all costs, he must turn it down, with Jason Blood letting him know that he would never, in all of eternity, ever betray Dr. Fate. But the conversation he worried most about was the conversation with Constantine, because while he may be new at this, while he may be naive, he knows better than to tell John Constantine about the future. But he believes that he has to, that desperate means call for desperate measures, and having every intention of telling him what is going to happen to the Tower of Fate by Merlin's hands. He goes to tell Constantine this, and Constantine stops him and lets him know that if you're going to tell me about the future, just stop right now. Because you and I both know, telling old John Constantine anything about the future, somehow, some way, it's gonna have huge ramifications. And it is better that I just find out what happens on my own. Because the truth is, there is nothing good that can come from telling me what is about to happen. And last but not least is Detective Chimp. Because with Bobo, he looks for counseling more than anything else. But he lets Bobo know that Bobo is the heart of all of them. He possesses a sort of magic that no helm, no backward spell, no suit of rags could ever reproduce. And before Kent had left, he said to him that there was a sort of magic that always is within grasp, and through Bobo, he knows exactly what he means. Detective Chimp, he said nothing to this. He sat there with his head down and said no words. With Dr. Fate going to make his exit, Bobo grabs his hand, stops him, and embraces him, telling him that he knows he's this big time Dr. Fate nowadays. But sometimes, just sometimes, it is okay to still be a kid, to remember who you are, and that no matter what lies ahead of you, you don't have to do this on your own. That you can always ask for help. You can always reach out to Bobo, and he will be there fighting right by your side. And so Dr. Fate leaves. He heads back to the Tower of Fate, knowing that if he asked the Justice League Dark to stand by his side, that they would be there. And though it appears that we have run out of pages, as if it looks like there is no more room for a story left to be told, and while last stands, they come at the end of our stories. As he writes down these last words on this paper, he knows in his bones that this is not the end, that this is the beginning. And as Dr. Fate puts on that helm, right outside the door, we have Merlin standing outside the Tower of Fate, ready to take it down. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I will say it 1,000 more times. Justice League line is absolute crap right now. I have continued to cover it just because of the Justice League Dark. Now, I'm hoping, now that we have reached the end of this ridiculous Royal Flush Gang, I absolutely hate them. I'm not gonna lie, I do not like the Royal Flush Gang. I think they suck. I think the whole story was absolutely pointless. They brought in Naomi to not even really give us much backstory. They introduced her homeworld, not really going more into that storyline. It's really just been all over the place, and then they throw in the Royal Flush Gang as if some kind of filler just to get us to the death of the Justice League. And so now that I'm done ranting about how much I hate the Royal Flush Gang, we're gonna talk about Justice League Dark, because that line has been absolutely phenomenal. And this one was such a heartwarming and touching story, because Dr. Fate, he is about to make his last stand, with Merlin just outside the Tower of Fate, getting ready to take it down. With Dr. Fate knowing that he has to do this alone, he gives his last words to the Justice League Dark, imparting the last bit of wisdom that he has, not knowing what is about to happen. He goes to stand toe-to-toe with Merlin. And so while this part of Justice League Dark, it wasn't action-packed, there wasn't a lot of chaos going on, it really was a truly awesome, segment to be going on. And so, of course, you know, Justice League Dark, it gets a 10 out of 10. The Justice League line itself, I'm gonna have to say 3 out of 10. But really, I want to talk about the death of the Justice League, because that's gonna be coming up here soon. And I have to think that this has got to be some kind of ploy. You know, it's moving into Dark Crisis. Joshua Williamson has this whole storyline planned out, looking a lot like 5G in my opinion. But I'm hoping that the death of the Justice League is gonna be some kind of revival for the Justice League line. More than likely, we are gonna see the Justice League line, if they continue it on throughout this entire Dark Crisis, it's gonna be made up of legacy characters. So we're gonna be seeing Yara Flor, more than likely we're gonna see Wally West. We're gonna have Jonathan Kent. We're gonna have Jackson, aka Aqualad. And this is a story that I've really been looking forward to, because while we got a small glimpse of it in Future State, we really got a Justice League that came together, trying to be the Justice League of old, but they were unable to, and they ended up splitting up and doing their own thing. Now, we don't know if that is going to come to fruition, but what we do know is that this is going to be the first team up after the death of the Justice League. And Joshua Williamson, he has already come out and said that this is going to be quite a little while. While it doesn't explicitly say that the Justice League is dead, more that the Justice League has gone missing. We don't know where they are. And so all of our legacy characters, they are going to have to step up at least for a couple of months until our original Justice League, they come back from wherever they're going to be. And so while, I'm probably being overly optimistic, I am still highly skeptical of what Joshua Williamson is going to be doing. Arguably, he was my favorite writer for quite some time because he was focused on the Flash line. And I really do love what he did with the Flash. And so fingers crossed that Joshua Williamson can bring some kind of life back to the Justice League line. And let's hope that this Dark Crisis is actually going to be something fun and enjoyable. Supposedly, it's going to be focusing less on a crisis event and more on individual relationships as our characters begin to grow and turn into the Justice League of tomorrow. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.